Jack Conklin, Jed Wills. You got Micah Parsons coming to town, right? You got DeMarcus Lawrence here coming to town. So you got to make sure that this line is up and ready to go. Jed Wills has not practiced. He has not been cleared to play. We haven't seen Jed Wills since last year. And it looks like Jack Conklin, the more the week progresses, especially by tomorrow, if Wednesday, as you watch this, Wednesday, Thursday, if he hasn't practiced, it looks like it's going to be Jack Conklin. This is going to be his first action since the first the first week of the season where he tore up his knee really, really bad against the Cincinnati Bengals. We talked about a little bit about this during the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and we really discussed was, let's take a look at the difference between the cornerback position and the defensive line position and offensive line position, given the fact that corners and tackles kind of play swing tackles where you could play left side and right side. Tyvis was talking about whether or not he's concerned with Jed Wills not being at left tackle and Jack Conklin playing left tackle for the first time in about 10 years or so. This is what he had to say, and this was on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show earlier today. You can check that episode out right now on YouTube.
It is a slight difference. Like, it can be tricky to some, but it's not like left tackle and right tackle. Okay. That's two totally different things to me. I think at corner, as long as you got good hips and your technique is good, you'll be fine. On that kick slide, and when you so used to kick sliding one side, and now you got to switch it and go the other way, like your body just not used to that. And then it's not only is that, these guys have good moves. Like, you got dudes that speed rush. You got guys that hit spin moves. You got guys that really good at countering. And if you're not used to your body just twerking that way like that, like it's that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
If you ain't used to it, like it's
used to twerking.
It can get chill out, bro. You need to chill out with that. But if you're not used to that, like it can be a foreign feeling to you. That's why reps is so valuable right there. At corner, you got to be, if you're going to be a top corner in this league, you got to be able to play both sides of the field. You got to be able to go inside, outside, and on the other side as well.
Don't ask Richard Sherman about that.
He did it.
I know.
He did it very sparingly, but he did it.
By the way, Tyvis, you thought you was going to get away with that. That was wild. Your body ain't used to twerking like that. I don't know what. Dustin, get in the studio. You defensive backs, that's what y'all co-signing? Your body not used to twerking like that. Pause. But listen, that was nasty work by you. Nasty work. But we'll moving right along. But you know what he was saying, I felt what he was saying. It's a bit of a thing. When you are a left tackle and you used to kick sliding a certain way, and you got to be precise with the kick slide, because you're supposed to kick slide at a certain angle. And what you want to do is you want to be able to kick slide to protect the outside so you don't get hit with the speed rush. But at the same time, you're not giving up the inside rush by being overextended. So one of the things that you got to talk about, and one of the things we talk about a lot, is can you just go from putting your left foot back to your power foot to your power step to all of those things? You got to actually think about that a little bit. You actually have that, lot goes into that. It's just not something that you just line up and do consciously. The second part of it is Jack Conklin has not played any snaps. And I don't know about you guys. I don't think y'all understand this. When you are a bigger individual, you have to slowly ramp yourself up into football shape. And to put it in perspective, when you got 20 pounds of equipment on and you just go out there, and all those guys that played football that knows about, what football conditioning is and what it be in football shape is, first of all, the helmet itself is obstructive. Like when you got that helmet on and you ain't used to having it on for a long period of time, you just feel like it's Darth Vader. Like, you're like, hey, listen, I can't breathe in here. You just feel like you ain't getting no air. You're like, man, is it always like this? Then them pads start weighing on you. And then you're like, man, I got about 30 pounds of equipment. Then you realize that you ain't really been no conditioning in the off season. You just been rehabbing. Rehab is just to be functional and walk and not be able to be hurt. Not talking about I'm going to play 100% like my life depended on it, trying to kick slide against Micah Parsons. That's different. It's another level. And I look at it, conditioning is going to be something. It's going to be hot. Those first few games in September is summer games. Those games, you might as well be playing in the summer because it's going to be hot. They're going to have to do a lot to keep him upright. They're going to have to make sure that Njoku's over there helping him out. They're going to have to slide that way. They're going to have to put it back over there. They're going to have to do a lot of different things. And the biggest thing that I think can help Jack Conklin that we got to talk about, because Jed Wills to me is not playing, and Jed Wills might not be playing for a couple of games because he hasn't even put the pads on. He's 2-3 weeks away, right? The thing that they're going to have to do to help Jack Conklin is they're going to have to keep this run game going. All of that, they're going to have to be faithful to the running game. And what I mean by that, it isn't so much that you got to run it 30 or 40 times, but you can't be behind the sticks. You can't be in 1st and 20 because somebody was holding. You can't be 1st and 15 because somebody jumped off sides or false starts. You can't have guys being down the field or on a legal man downfield on screen plays. You can't have none of that happening. And you don't have to get 12, 15 yards a touch, but you have to give me something when it's there. So that means you got to have a conversation with Jerome Ford. Like, listen, Jerome, listen, we need the tough 3 or 4. We need the tough 3 or 4. If you can get it, get what you can get and get down. But you got to slow this pass rush down by using screens, by using the run game. But you can't be behind the sticks and be down and talk about we going to have Jack Conklin dropping back 40 or 50 times trying to deal with Micah Parsons. That game plan is a disaster for the Browns, and they can't win that. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Let's get back to the chat. I know y'all want to get in here. Let's see. Where we at? Ron says, why nobody talking about the Jets worried about a 40-year-old quarterback with an ACL or Achilles heel injury recovery not playing in a year? Well, that's because it's 2 things. It's Aaron Rodgers, and he done won some championships, and he done won an MVP, and he's in the New York market. Now, granted, that's the low-hanging fruit. Plus, people that already have it baked in on Deshaun Watson, they done already figured out what they want to talk about Deshaun Watson. A lot of it is going to be about them allegations or a lot about the money or the 234 or whatever the case may want to be. But the cool thing about football is you could make narratives up all you want during the offseason. But when that football film hit, all the rest of that go to the wayside. It's about the games and what you do on the field. If Deshaun Watson come out here and play his tail off and the Cleveland Browns is winning and they play like they look like a team in the AFC that's going to be contenders against the Cowboys, won't nobody say nothing about that because it matters about what's on that field. And that's the great thing about football. We cover it from a perspective, but what happens on the field trumps everything. And I want this too. Marshall, let them sleep on us. There's no pressure, just motivation. I think the Browns don't have very, very much pressure this year anyway. They know we're a big team. They know we're a good team. And I think that's just a part of it. I think that's a part of the maturation and the evolution of the Cleveland Browns fan base. We're a team we're not going to catch anybody off guard. Like, they know we got ball players, right? So for us, we just have to evolve the way we watch these games, right? So, the Cowboys is a good team. Every single game is going to be a game that you should expect the Cleveland Browns to either be in or win. Like, that's just what being a contender. And we got to get to a point where we can start, viewing the team, and hopefully the team plays like that, where you can start to say, okay, every single week we come in with our lunch pail, and every single week we expect to win, whether it's the Chiefs, whether it's the Bengals, whether it's the Ravens, whether it's the Cowboys, the Packers, we should be able to compete in every single game. Let's see. When We need Greg Williams back as head coach. Greg, that ain't happening, dog. Greg Williams is he's doing podcasts like me now. That's not happening. Sarah says, bro, the offensive line, not enough talk. What if Jack goes down? Watson has to obviously get the ball out quicker. Tight end position is huge for this game regardless. Yes, it is. Shout out to you, Sarah. You button up on your knowledge. I like that. I like that. You ready to go. Ball got to come out quick. And here's the thing with Deshaun. There's sometimes he's going to hold the football, right? He's going to have to pick and choose his places, though. There's times where you can't be fast and loose with the ball with Micah Parsons around. You go back and watch that game against the Bengals, second game against the Steelers. That game was in tow. What happened? You got a strip sack, right? TJ Watt, you got a strip sack. Now, Jed Wills could be, somebody would say that was his guy, but you got a strip sack. You got to have ball security. If they don't have that strip sack, the Browns defense was lights out pretty much that game. Browns win that game. So, definitely. Rick says, appreciate you always standing on your own 10 down. Your boy Jay is always interjecting when others speaking. Hey, look, man. Hey, it's football season. You know, right now you're going to see, look, you know, during football season, it's always we don't do too much interjecting, man. You got to hear what I'm saying. We're gonna be much more aggressive on that. You know what I'm saying? You know, we need that analysis, right? We need that analysis, man. You know, and plus when the season come around, we're gonna have a lot of film to go over. So, you know, I think, and the cool thing about it is, you know, people adapt to certain things. We got 4 people in the panel now. So, you know, you always lead with the topics, right? So now when we come around on UCSS, everybody got to pass the rock. You know what I'm saying? And we don't be doing too much dribbling. Get your money off and pass, cut, screen away. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everybody get their comments in, but be locked. It's going to be must watch TV. Must watch TV. Let's see. Let me give him one more. Soul Train, what's up, man? Always pulling up. 391 people in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button for your brother. 391. We need all them likes. We should have at least 391 likes because there's 391 in here. Aside from week 1, I'm glad the beginning of schedule don't have divisional opponents for a while so they can eventually get right offensively. I think offensively it's going to take a couple of weeks. And it's not that I'm putting that all on the quarterback. I just think it is what it is. Like you're going to have to figure out what's going on at tackle. You got to figure out what the run game is. And plus, I think a lot of us don't even know what to expect. We didn't see none of these dudes play in the preseason. I don't know what they playbook looking like. I mean, what playbook did you see? If you could tell me you saw Jerry Jeudy and you saw Amari Cooper and David Njoku and all the ones playing, you tapped me on the shoulder because last time I checked, all of those guys did not play in the preseason. So that's one of the things that we can look forward to. But I do think the defense will be ahead of the offense.